The Thunder are booked as a hefty favorite to take a 2-0 series lead. The Lakers are a home favorite tonight, trying to even their opening round series against Minnesota. And although Damian Lillard is questionable, Indiana still a home favorite in Indy after winning game number 1 by 19. Which of those favorites are we trusting most tonight? That was the question to all of you in Fade the Public. At SportsGrid on Twitter, which NBA playoff favorite is the best bet to cover the spread tonight? The Thunder laying 14.5. The Lakers as a 5.5-point home favorite. The Pacers laying 4.5 against Milwaukee. And despite having the largest spread by far, backing them, DRS, the Thunder also being backed by the public. OKC, 14.5-point favorite. More than 50% of the public thinking the Thunder cruise to another very comfortable Game 2 win over the Grizz.
And I am fading the public this morning at this point. Had you never heard of the zig-zag theory? What you saw in game number 1 might not appear in game number 2. So for my money, I didn't take the Thunder minus 14.5. Matter of fact, I like the plus 14.5 on the Memphis Grizzlies to show up in this basketball game, enough to keep it close around double digits. My vote actually went to the Los Angeles Lakers. Why? They can't afford to get down 0-2 in a series. The zig-zag theory, which means that, yes, they were supposed to cover in game number 1 and win. They lost both of those, and I expect a cover by the Lakers at 5.5 to take down the Minnesota Timberwolves. And also, you know me, Ben, there's some conspiracy theory bones in my body where the NBA goes, yeah, the Lakers ain't getting knocked out round number 1 with Luka Doncic here. Make sure this is 1-1 before they go back to Minnesota. Everything. Put that in a big cauldron, circle around there with the big spoon, and that means the Lakers with a victory and a cover tonight. Pacers 4.5, they'll handle their business, but I wasn't even focused there. I'm focused on the Lakers getting the job done tonight, making it 1-1.
DRS, I put my vote on OKC because I thought most of the public would be backing the Lakers. I thought the Lakers would be the overwhelming public favorite here in this Fade the Public poll. No, not so much, which gives me more confidence to lay the 5.5 with the Lake Show tonight, expecting them to even up this opening round series with home floor advantage against Minnesota. Now, you believe Memphis stays within this number tonight. How close of a game are you expecting, DRS, in OKC?
I'm expecting a fight. And again, it doesn't even have to be that close at 14.5, but I'm expecting the Memphis Grizzlies to stay within double digits, because if not, they're going to get plastered in games 3 and 4 and might as well just be off. Josh should just be throwing grenades all over the place, or actually just doing that, little movement that he's going to shoot the gun. Just throw me out of the series because we're done in games 3 or 4 at this point anyway. I expect them, because the one thing you understand is there are professional athletes on both sides. They're both earning paychecks. That's one thing. But there is pride that goes in this game. Does Memphis want to say, we made the playoffs, but we got beat by 40 every game we played and embarrassed ourselves? This is one of those games where it's unacceptable. And I even know where John Morant's coming from after that game. We're never going to play this bad again. You can say that, and yes, you might be able to play as bad as you just did. But I'm just looking from a team concept here. The Thunder are better. There's no question. I think the Thunder are the best team in the NBA. But there's no reason to believe that a team that just got wasted because they had a sort of longer, meandering, route to actually make it to game number 1 of the actual playoffs than the Thunder, who are rested and ready. I expect the best performance I might get out of the Memphis Grizzlies in this entire series tonight, because the focus should be there, which means, Ben, staying within 2 touchdowns. That's not hard to ask.
It's a good point, DRS. This will be the Grizzlies' 4th game in the last week. The Grizz played on Friday night, traveled to OKC over the weekend, played early on Sunday, got absolutely hammered, but now both teams only a day off in between. That is why the public loves the Thunder tonight. Not just in our Fade the Public poll, 74% of the betting on that spread money really backing the Thunder as of this moment on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Now, even if Memphis stays within the spread, DRS, I don't think I expect this to be very, very competitive. Again, I think the way you look at this series, as we will say a little bit later on, is the Thunder in 4. I'm not sure Memphis wins a game. Doesn't mean the Grizzlies cannot cover a game or two, or certainly tonight. About 59% of the money on that spread betting, DRS, backing the Lakers at home tonight to have a bounce-back performance. Not only when you get beat in game number one with home floor advantage, but you get beat by 22 on Saturday night. I think that leaves a bad taste in the mouth of people expecting to have that confidence in the Lakers. But Luka Doncic had 37 points in game number one. LeBron James only had 19. This is why you have both of these guys paired up, not just for Luka in the future of the next decade plus, but to be a championship contender right here, right now. I think the Lakers win this game. I think the Lakers win it comfortably tonight. I would lay the 5.5 with LA, and I would expect much more scoring output from LeBron James tonight.
Correct. Needs a better start. Didn't have anything in the first quarter last week. Luka held it down. They probably still should have won that game, but ended up getting blasted. The expectations here, too, because I actually have more confidence. It sounds kind of crazy that the Grizzlies can just hang around the Thunder than the Lakers actually winning by 6 points. We said, well, Donnie, why did you vote that way? Just the ebbs and flows of the NBA, understanding this. Like, the Thunder know they should be up 2-0. And I'm not saying that they're just going to roll the basketball out there and take care of business and win by 10 points and be like, that was just fine. But understanding the thought process behind, like, the Lakers, like, they understand this. The Lakers go, oh, they're not winning this series. And for all the hype that we have in Luka Doncic and LeBron James and the great teams that they have, or what the anticipation of a great team would be, that's up in flames. Like, again, as much as I expect the Memphis Grizzlies to be embarrassed by their effort and have a good performance, it's the opposite for the Lakers. Understanding they thought they probably should have won game number one and got smoked. They can't lose game number two and go on the road. No, Memphis can be like, okay, we're home 0-2. It's our home court. Let's see what we can do. You cannot go down 0-2 there at Crypto.com Arena. I expect a good performance out of the Lakers to get the win in the cover.
And we'll talk a lot more about the game in Indianapolis a little bit later on. But, of course, the biggest thing there tonight for the Pacers, who won by 19 in game one, but are only a 4.5-point favorite for game two, might Damian Lillard be on his way back for the Bucks? How much does it even matter at this point for Milwaukee? 3 games tonight in the NBA playoffs, a triple header of game twos to get you ready for here. He is Donnie, I am Ben, your two premier NBA handicappers, even in the postseason, live right here on the early line. Game number 2 tonight in Indianapolis between the Pacers and the Bucks. Indiana winning game one rather comfortably by 19 points, 117-88, and easily covering as a 5.5-point favorite. Only a 4.5-point spread in favor of Indiana, despite being at home again tonight, DRS. Is that because Milwaukee cannot go down 0-2 even as they get ready to return to the Pfizer Forum? Or is it because Dame is on his way back, upgraded to questionable for game number 2 tonight? DRS, what do you make of the status of Damian Lillard? If he plays, what do you think it does for this game 2 spread?
Yeah, the same way I thought about when the series began, right? Where you had that price point on the Indiana Pacers. Go, oh, they might come back and the price drop. Like, I don't care. Like, does they make them a better basketball team than they already are right now? Maybe a little bit, but I still think the Pacers are the better team, and I'm getting a discount. So I think about it the same way that I'm going to enter tonight's matchup. And you see like those 6 prices or so, let's just say at the FanDuel Sportsbook at the opening number. Now we see 4.5. Go ahead and make Dame eligible in this game where he's active. Drop it to 4. Drop it to 3.5. Drop it to 3. I'm going to go right back in on the Pacers. Now you might say, Donnie, you love the zig-zag theory and what goes into it. I do. But now I'm getting like the ultimate zigzag on pricing where it's like, oh, Dame's back. They should win. Drop the price. No, now I don't think so. Now I'm actually thinking I'm getting a bargain on the Pacers where that price point should have been around 6. And now we might see it crash down to, again, 4s and 3.5s in that range. We don't have any statistics or any props there, and we probably shouldn't on Dame Lillard. He actually does. 19.5 is listed here. So it looks like he is going to play. So now, again, I like the Pacers more. Understand this. Dame's a great basketball player throughout his career. Dame can fill it up. There's no question about it. But Dame coming back down 0-1, trying to force his way into the lineup and be a marker on offense, I don't think helps them tonight. Now, if Dame plays 29, 35, let's just say 29 to 35 minutes as a range, right? And scores 25 points, well, then, he really helped them. But I think it goes the opposite way. I'm not saying like Dame comes back and has a bad offensive performance or they're not ready for Dame to come back. He's a professional and they're professionals. But if Dame plays tonight and I want the announcement to be made, I'm going to wait till the last minute and take the Pacers tonight. How about that?
Yeah, DRS, I don't mind the look. Since Damian Lillard exited the lineup for Milwaukee, dealing, of course, with that deep vein thrombosis, the blood clot of which he has been cleared for. Milwaukee was 38-30 on March 18th, final game that Dame did play. They ended out the regular season to the Bucks, winning 8 straight. They ended out the regular season, DRS, winning 10 of 14 without Dame in there. I'm not saying that's the only reason. Lillard, since the All-Star break when he was there, Milwaukee was 6-5. It doesn't give me a ton of confidence to be like, that's the difference. That's the X factor for the Bucks. That's the reason they win game 2. That's the reason they win this series. Indiana did win game number 1 by 19. I think I said 117-88 earlier. Bad math. 117-98. They were a 5.5, 6.5 point home favorite. Covered that number. 227 in a hook was the total, DRS, and it stayed well under. As we look at the total for tonight, it has dropped a little bit in this game. We have seen that all around the association. In fact, it's on its way up now at 229. That could be the thought of having Damian Lillard return. This is playoff basketball. We have seen now 10 total games in the playoffs. 8 of 10 have gone under. This total up tonight? I'm not so sure. Again, I still feel as though the Pacers take a 2-0 series advantage, and I picked the Bucks to win this series outright. I'm not really sure how that changes tonight.
Yeah, no, and you're right about that, too. In the playoffs, you're always leaning more towards the under because of that ratcheted up intensity throughout the game itself, and particularly in the fourth quarter, and maybe even so tonight, where you don't expect Milwaukee to have a free-flowing game. The reason why I say that is they can't afford that. Like, hey, let's get up tempo, and whatever happens. Like, no, you have to win this game. You can't go down 0-2 in the series. And the same way for Indiana. Indiana's not thinking about this like, whew, all right, Ben. Whoa, we got away with game number 1, won that easily. No big deal if we play a little bit late. No, they understand the importance of we can't now lose home court advantage, so the defensive intensity should still be there. Dame or no Dame, I still think the Pacers are a better team. So I think the Pacers win tonight with Dame on the court. I think I'm going to get a better price than what I had early in the day or what the opening number was for last night before we thought Dame Lillard might play here tonight. That's my thought process. But I think I'm with you on the total. Can they get to 229? Yes. But the odds say that we're not looking at a 75-61 halftime score tonight, which easily puts you on pace. We're looking more for defensive efforts, which means typically in the playoffs, Ben, not a lot of runouts, not a lot of lackadaisical, 3-on-1, let them happen. No, you're hustling back there to maybe get the hard foul or at least get yourself in place so they can't get an easy bucket.
Yeah, DRS, when you look at how game 1 played out, it was Giannis and everybody else. So maybe he will be very happy to have Damian Lillard return. He is listed as questionable, but of course does have that points prop out there for what would be his first game since March 18th. Points prop on Dame, 19.5. Giannis has the highest number tonight by a lot. It's 32.5. He scored 36 in game number 1. The 4 other starters for Milwaukee combined to score 14 points, including Kyle Kuzma, who played 22 minutes, had 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds, 0 steals, 0 blocks, did a lot of cardio on Saturday in Indianapolis. If he is a true professional with his points prop of 10.5 tonight, has to come close to that number. Leading scorer for Indiana in game 1 was Pascal Siakam with 25. His points prop tonight, 20.5. Tyrese Halliburton, DRS, did get into double figures, had 10 points and 12 assists, 0 of 7 from 3. His points prop tonight against the Bucks stands now at 18.5. Our second game of the night of R3 in Oklahoma City. It's the Thunder and the Grizzlies. OKC, after winning game 1 by 51, 131-80, is a 14.5 point favorite for game 2 tonight against the Grizzlies. Total at 229. Total for game 1 was 232. Stayed well under because Memphis only scored 80. Donna, you expect this game to be closer. I think the question is how close tonight? Is it even within single digits?
I do believe it is. I honestly do. Like, the line opened up at 13.5. It did move to 14.5 because the public perception is this series is already over. And quite frankly, it might be. I don't think anybody's anticipating, even if the game was closer in game number 1, that we're still going to have a long series getting even more past game number 5. I think that's probably where it ends because I think there's a legitimate chance that Memphis can steal a game. but that's going to be predicated on what we see tonight, which, again, in embarrassing fashion in game number 1, they lost. You might say they had some tired legs. Now they should be rebounded into the series and play better basketball, and I would agree with that. So there's a correlation set for me tonight where you think SGA is going to have a good game. He typically does. And, of course, the FanDuel Sportsbook puts his prop there at 31.5, which is exactly where he usually lands. But if I'm looking from the Grizzlies' perspective, there's no point in my mind tonight that I think they can hang around this game without Ja Morant having a big night. It's like your thought process between Cade Cunningham. There's not a correlation between Cade playing okay and then beating the Knicks inside their own building. Like, no. You expect your best player to have his best game, and not even a matter of fact to win the game, just to keep your team in the hunt and be competitive. That's all I'm asking tonight for the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant said as much as I said early in the show before that, in the post-game press conference, we're never going to play that bad again. Do you know what that means? The onus is on Ja Morant, which he could come out in this game and score 35 points. They can still get beat by 35. So I love Ja Morant. 22.5 over at a minus 104 price. In my mind, Ja can't have 13 points and 10 assists and 9 rebounds and then hang around. He's got to be in the mid-20s. I think that happens. So I will take Memphis getting 14.5, but also that correlation of if they hang around, Ja's having a good game, and he's in the mid-20s tonight for me, Ben.
17 points, the only Memphis starter on Sunday in Oklahoma City who scored in double figures. Zach Edey has been good, but just 4 and 9 in his playoff debut. His points prop tonight, 8.5. You need more from everybody. Desmond Bane's points prop, 18 and a hook. We thought maybe, just maybe, DRS, after only scoring 15, again, not much needed out of SGA on Sunday's romp of Memphis, that maybe that points prop would drop to 28.5. Still at 31 and a hook. I do think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has a higher scoring output. And frankly, if this game is closer, he'll need to be out there and do more. More about the NBA playoffs comes your way next. Live right here on this Tuesday on the Early Line on SportsGrid, continuing to preview Game 2s in 3 spots tonight in the NBA playoffs. DRS, just to quickly finish up what we are going to see tonight between the Thunder and the Grizzlies. OKC, 14.5-point home favorite against Memphis. Oklahoma City is the best cover team in the NBA, 67.5%. The cover percentage for the Thunder, including covering as a 13.5-point favorite in Game 1, winning by 51. They are the only team, that being the Thunder, not just with the NBA's best record in the regular season and now off to a perfect start in the playoffs, but the only team covering in more than 60% of games, and they are at 67.5. DRS, even if you're right, even if Memphis makes this game a little bit more competitive in game number 2, I do not predict a Grizzlies outright upset. Frankly, I do think Oklahoma City wins this in a sweep, which, if you look at the correct score market for this opening round playoff series, the Thunder to win in 4 is minus 115 on the FanDuel Sportsbook.
It's crazy. It is. Even though we saw that most lopsided game that you're going to see in a long time in the NBA playoffs in game number 1, we'll see tonight because there are ebbs and flows to a series. Would I be surprised if the Memphis Grizzlies went to OKC tonight and won this basketball outright? Yes. They're getting 2 touchdowns here. But I'm not going to be surprised when it's a competitive game because that's what the NBA is. You watch the regular season with OKC. It wasn't a torch fest every single night. You had lulls in your scheduling. So they can't have a lull in a playoff game at home. I'm not even saying that. A lull is, we just didn't win by 15. We only won by 12. How about that lull for tonight on the cover? I'm just expecting a professional group of players to say we were embarrassed. That's not happening again. And it's on Ja Morant to make sure it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical, but we'll see what happens as we recap on a Wednesday. DRS, of our 3 home favorites tonight, Indiana and Oklahoma City can take a commanding 2-0 series lead, making good on home court advantage. The Lakers have already let that slip. So as a 5.5-point home favorite in game number 2 tonight in downtown Los Angeles, the Lakers need this one to even up the set against Anthony Edwards in the Minnesota Timberwolves. 5.5-point spread in favor of LA. That over-under stands at 210 and a hook. Can the Lakers even up this series? And if so, as the odds expect, DRS, can they make it look comfortable tonight, covering as a 5.5-point home favorite?
I hope it's comfortable because I do think the Lakers do win and cover. So everybody likes that. Hey, jump out to a 7 or 8 point lead at the end of the first quarter and never look back. We're looking at those options, but also understand this. The Minnesota Timberwolves understand the game, too, because there are elements where it's like, whew, like let's just say Memphis got a win in game number 1 against OKC. They probably would have gotten beat by 15 game number 2 because, like, what? Job accomplished, man. We're going home 1-1. That's not the case for the Timberwolves. Like, if you want to beat the Los Angeles Lakers, this is how you beat them. Take the first 2 games on their home court and don't say, well, we won the game number 1. Now we'll just go back to Minnesota and see what happens. That's not the way to play it out. So you would expect that Minnesota is out for blood tonight, and rightfully so. But the same thing on the opposite side with the Lakers, understanding these aren't 2 games on the road. It's like, all right, we came up 0-2, but we go back home. Let's even this series and take it back to Minnesota. You lose the first 2 games on your home court, you are not coming back in this series. Because, again, just the byproduct of Minnesota just has to split it home in games 3 and 4, and then they're going to win the series anyway. You can't have that. And also understanding this, LeBron James' performance, unacceptable in game number 1 to be insignificant per se through the first half of that game and then try to turn it on. You need your best players playing all 4 quarters against this Timberwolves team, which is pretty good on defense. I look at the points prop. Like, Luka's at 30.5, which is insane. Yeah. And do I think he can get that? I do, but I look at that LeBron number, 24.5 at plus 100. I want to see where this actually gets closer to game time here because LeBron understands this. He's got to get started first and understand this as well as a team concept. Like, Luka's not going to be like, hey, LeBron, take the first quarter off again. You know what Luka's going to do? Hey, Bron, get yours in the first quarter. Let's get you 5, 6, 7 points here so then maybe you can build on this and we can both be engaged all the way through. I'm focused on LeBron James and that 24.5 marker tonight and also focused on the Lakers handling their business, which I can't say I think they win but don't cover. If I think they win, it's going to be about 6+ tonight. They cover.
Luka probably tired, DRS, throughout his NBA playoff career of carrying teams by himself. 37 points in game number 1. LeBron only had 19. As we have shared, LeBron did not register a single point or a rebound or an assist in the opening quarter against Minnesota on Saturday night. LeBron James' first quarter points prop, 4.5. I have bet that tonight, needing just 5 out of the King to get off to a much better start, which obviously only benefits the Lakers as well. But there is no doubt, DRS, this Timberwolves team ain't scared. They've been here before. They made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, and Anthony Edwards plays with the most confidence in everything he does, in literally everything, including table tennis. He's ready for this moment tonight. To your point, all right, the Lakers were stunned in game 1, losing by 22. I would not be stunned if Minnesota wins this game. I would be surprised, expecting the Lakers to even up the series. But it's not like, all right, wrath of God, you're about to be beat by 15-20. I think Minnesota is in this game. I am backing the Lakers, laying 5.5 points. But I do think it looks competitive tonight. And I think LeBron James is the key. 24.5 points, 4.5 first quarter points for the King as well. Donnie, if you think the Lakers even up this series, they entered the opening game on Saturday around a minus 196 price to win this series outright. The Lakers are the underdog after losing game number 1 on their home floor at plus 115. You go get that Lakers number as well if you think the Lakers evening up this series means the Lakers eventually come out on top.
Yeah, exactly. The buy-in point right now still would be for the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm not buying in on the Lakers. Well, now they're down 0-2 and the price point's great. Like, no, that's not a buy-in for me. The buy-in would be tonight where I expect them to have a good performance. I'm buying LeBron James. And by the way, healthy numbers too for Austin Reeves, 18.5 at the FanDuel Sportsbook. That's something to watch out for tonight because that guy's in the mix, certainly, no doubt about it. Better performance for the Lakers, even up this series. And again, conspiracy theorists, unite out here. The NBA will never allow the Lakers to get dropped in round number 1 with Luka Doncic on their team. Keep that one filed away.
You think it's Luka? That's the NBA needle mover, not LeBron?
Both of them. Like, they just got Luka. They want to say, this might be the team of the future. We can't bounce them round number 1 at this point. You got to build it up here, man. The longer the Lakers in, the better for business in the NBA. Understand it.
No doubt about that, DRS. Enjoy the money line, my friend.
Yeah, BATR goes away if the Lakers lose, right? I think that's the agreement. So